Well, how are you?
How are you, Paul?
I can see. I'm fine.
Can you see me? Yes.
Pardon? And Timmy's fine too. She's gone up to New York to NYU today,
Uh-huh.
so she'll be up there for a couple of days. And she's still on the faculty, in
Okay.
the French department at NYU.
Okay. Okay. So here,
Who all is there?
okay, here we are, the cluster group. You can see, I think you can see them.
Yes.
Okay, it's a group of more or less like 14 people. Okay,
Yes.
and most of them are psychologists, some philosophers, and some theologists. And
Okay.
all of us form part of this cluster group of the Templeton group.
Yes.
Okay, and your seminar is the 4th seminar.
All right.
We have had like 2 previous seminars, one of it about the gifts of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Then today we have another one in the morning about like the Carmelitan spirituality,
Yes.
Santa Teresa of Avila, and now is your turn.
Oh, you've had such good things. Now I have to talk about some bad things.
Yeah, but we are ready for everything, Paul. Everything.
Okay.
This is
All
a
right.
this is a very, very like commit group, very like Catholic group. So you can talk very like openly because all of
Okay.
Anthemistic group.
Oh, Thomistic.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I will not. I don't think I will touch on Aquinas today.
Okay. But if you want, you can do it because here you have like experts about that, and all of us are like eager to know about like the relation between like spirituality, especially mystical life and psychology.
Well, it's particularly the negative spirituality that I'll be talking about today. That is, a title for today could be Psychology and Demonic Spiritual Effects.
Yeah, Paul, just one thing before you start, just one thing very like short.
Yes.
All of them know the topic, but just in case we get lost, we will tell you because sometimes the voice is not so clear.
Yes.
And
Okay.
So I just
Yes.
will tell you, but well.
And I'll try to speak slowly.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right?
Yes. All right.
So, our title for today could be Psychology and Demonic Effects, Their Interconnections. Or it could be Psychology and Demonic Spiritual Effects. And before we get to the specific topic, I want to put it in a very general context. We are all familiar with the mind-body problem. We're familiar with, in this world, psychosomatic effects. In other words, we have the world of medicine and biology. We have the world of psychology and psychotherapy. And those two worlds have a boundary. And it's important for people, let's say, who are in medicine to know something about psychology. Medical doctors need to know sometimes that their patients have psychological disorders. They don't know how to cure the disorder, but they need to recognize and then refer them, their patients with psychological problems, to a psychiatrist or psychotherapist. Sometimes even patients for medical doctors need a little bit of a little bit of psychotherapy or counseling or moral support themselves in the medical setting. Doctors are aware, that is, medical doctors are aware of many people who have really a need for some kind of psychological support, even if brief. Sometimes it's called having a good bedside manner. But my point is there's a boundary between two realms, the body and the mind, and people on each side of the boundary need to know something about the other side. In a similar way, I think there is a boundary between the psychological and the spiritual. And people who are psychologists need to know something about the spiritual. And people who are spiritual advisors or deal with the spiritual realm need to know something about psychology. So we have a mind-spiritual boundary, just like we have a mind-body boundary. And so in a very general sense, psychologists should know something about spiritual issues, and spiritual advisors should know something about psychological issues. Because each will have to refer some of the people they deal with to somebody in the other realm at some time in their life. And each needs to know something about it, because smaller aspects, sometimes they'll have to treat directly. So that's the general context. There's a mind-body boundary, there's a mind-spirituality boundary, and there are similarities in dealing across boundaries with different experts. Now today, we're going to discuss negative spiritual characteristics primarily, or demonic effects. And first, I'd like to mention people with much more experience than I, who have been very helpful in preparing my presentation today. First, I'd like to mention a friend of mine and a colleague, Dr. Richard Gallagher. Dr. Gallagher is a psychiatrist. He has a psychiatric and MD training from Yale University. He's the only American, I think, on the exorcism committee in Rome. He's had years of experience not only with mentally disturbed people like psychotics and schizophrenics. He's been the primary psychiatrist involved in dealing with proposed cases of demonic possession in the United States. So he's had a lot of experience, and I've benefited from him a good deal. I'd also like to mention an American writer, a Catholic writer, who's written a lot about deliverance, and that's Neil Lozano, and an American psychologist named Segunda Acosto, who's also written about these issues of demonic possession or demonic influence and psychology. And I'd also like to mention the young faculty